In this video, I'm going to critique your photos. I did an open call for photo critique submissions on a VSCO space back in October, and I received over 90 submissions, and I've randomly selected 7 of the photos to dive deeper into the photo and break them down using my signature annotation style. Before we get started, I wanted to give a big shout out to VSCO. I've actually been partnering with them officially over the past few months as their educator in residence, and during this tenure, one of your biggest requests was to do a photo critique, so this is what this is. And thank you to all those who submitted a photo. I know it's a pretty vulnerable scenario to be able to submit your work up for critique, and I just want to say that the quality of the work, the intention behind the work was honestly incredible. And I just want to say, if your photo doesn't appear in this video, I promise you didn't get skipped. I personally left written feedback on every single submission inside of the VSCO space, so make sure to check that out if you haven't already. Before we jump into the critique, I did want to clarify that this isn't about ranking photos. This isn't about tearing down somebody's photography work, and this definitely isn't about defining what is good and what is bad, especially being critiqued by a single artist, which is me. So this is more about learning how to see light and composition in a new way, because when a photographer looks at your work, you can see things that maybe you didn't, and that helps all of us get better together. There are 3 things that I'll be pretty much looking for. First is light. Where is the light coming from? What is it doing for the subject? Does it guide us in a specific way? And then second is composition. What are we being asked to look at in the photo? And are there specific compositional elements that are helping guide us to look at that or to add a little bit of complexity to the photo? And the third thing is really just the intent in the story of the photo. What does the photo want to be about? And what are things that help us see that? As well as, are there any distracting elements that we're taking away from that? And lastly, one extra thing is, what's one opportunity for improvement that we can maybe try next time or think about next time so that we can keep getting better at photography. So this first image here is from Todd Les. It's a really cool photo. It looks like it's some type of neighborhood street, and for me, I'm a big sucker for cars, and I see this car under a tarp. Straight on photos too are pretty strong in the sense that everything is nice and lined up. There's a lot of bold shapes, so let's dive into specifically what we're seeing here. So when it comes to the light, very nice and directional, and we see it coming right here from the left hand side and just going over to the right. So you see the shadows are very strong, and the other things that we see here are a lot of compositional elements that are giving framework for how we look at this. So we have this post right here, and then we also have the line right here on the road, and then we also have the sidewalk, and then there's also kind of like a little bit of a organic repeating pattern of just the trees and the plants. And I really love how the pattern is broken up with this person. And also in terms of compositional placement, the subject is right in this little gap between the cars. Basically, these cars in conjunction with light are really forcing us to look specifically at the right side of the image because there's a gap between the cars, and there's also a pop of red that is drawing our eye to the right hand side. I think for me, the biggest opportunity we have here is to get rid of some of the negative space so that we can really help the eye guide more over to the right hand side. So what I would have done is I would have tried to take this gap right here and kind of match it on this side of that pole. So essentially I would have recropped this image and I would have cropped it so here, and then also just make sure that this line right here is perfectly horizontal. This image is awesome. I probably would have taken this image if I saw these cars on the street. Probably would have not caught somebody walking through the frame. So kudos for getting that moment along with this cool scene. So this next image is from Andy Bowers, and it looks like a pretty minimal scene. There's like this overhang that is shading this bench, and then we have a tree and a bush. And again, this is a type of image that I probably would have taken just because it is a lot of geometry and simplified color palette. Overall, I want to point that out first. So what we're seeing here is because of the balance of the bushes and the tree, it creates a visual line to look at. We have one area right here and another area right here, and it creates this eye line where you're gonna look from here to here. It's not a very obvious thing. You would think that you would going from diagonally the other way, and that is kind of created with this overhang right here, and it has a strong line this way. But I think overall the main way that I read the photo is going from here to here, and that's mainly because of the visual balance. For me, I always think that diagonal lines create the easiest balance to read, so you want to go from one corner to the other. And then basically there's three main color blocks that we're looking at when the composition is broken up. So we have this one, we have one right here, and then the middle one is, I would say, block 3, kind of like the whole mix of everything else. And what I'm trying to show you here is looking at a organic scene as well as some man-made structure, and looking at it more from an abstract sense of like little puzzle pieces that build a visual piece of art with just pretty much mundane things. The reason why this photo works so well is because it has a simplified color palette. So the colors that we're getting here is we have the blue, we have the green, and then we have kind of like that beige color here. And it helps everything come together and just simpler and easier to read. I think the one thing that I see here, again, is a common thing, is just making sure this vertical line here, that you just make sure that it's vertical. I really love this image, and you know, it takes a lot of observation skill to be able to find an image like this in a pretty just ordinary environment. This next image is from Bruno Ramos' lab, and just at a first glance, I love the fact that it's black and white. I also love the fact that it has this like shutter drag feel. I don't know if it's just a long exposure or if there was also some flash. I can't really tell because it looks like it's a concert type of thing, so there is probably some external lighting, and you can tell that with the lighting basically because the subject is kind of like highlighted here and also on her shoulder. You can tell that there's two different sources of light. It looks like there's one source of light coming from right here, and that gives this strong beam of light, and it looks like there's also some light that's coming from the other side, and this is basically sculpting the shoulders of the subject and also giving a little bit of a eye line for you to look. So basically the light is serving as a composition element right here. So there's motion blur that's going on. And this usually happens either from using flash or some type of just long exposure. This helps to create a little bit of movement and dynamic feeling for something that is just a still photo. Like we see the motion. I think the biggest critique for me and something to look at is just play around a little bit with crops. Probably for me, I would just crop out this bottom part right here. I know for some people it might give a little bit of context, but for me it's a little bit distracting, and I wish we could see the feet a little bit more to kind of give some anchoring point for the bottom of the photo. But overall, this one is really cool. I love the vibes of it, and it's just a hard photo and composition to pull off, especially in a concert setting. Alright, so this next photo is, I don't know how to pronounce the username, I think TNT Hi Photo. Yeah, TNT Hi Photo. This photo, overall, I just love it a lot. We see some type of man going into a train, very symmetric. I think it's straight up symmetric. A lot of cool shapes to look at, so let's break this one down. The light is coming strong the left hand side. The light's coming this way, and you can tell because of the way that it lands on the subject. It's lighting this person on the left, and there's a hard shadow on the right. Hard directional light. And when I say hard light, that means that it's creating a lot of contrast. And I also love that this image is pretty much symmetric. You can just see just going down the middle, pretty balanced. And everything is balanced in terms of having these balanced elements on the left and the right in terms of the windows. And it helps to create a way for us to look toward the center. And here we also have a frame within a frame, and there's just the nice bold elements of of all these lines. We have these colored lines here, so a pattern of all these lines. And this all takes us to the subject right here. And it is a mysterious person, right? We don't know who this is, and their head is in shadow, and only a part of their body is exposed. And I think for some people that might bother them. It bothered me a little bit, but as I kept looking at the photo, it just made a lot more sense. The room for improvement I have is trying to think of how we can get the timing of the leg to have a little bit more, I guess, like look a little bit more dynamic. But other than that, that's just kind of like a nitpick. But yeah, this is an amazing photo, and it's something that probably we can all try and recreate if, you know, even if you just have some public transportation or train. What's not easy to get is just like that beautiful hard light. So the next photo that we have is from ZGLRX, and looks like we're in some type of museum or like a very modern architectural building. The first thing that I see in this image is it reminds me of some type of like spiral going from here like that. And that creates basically a spiral leading line. And this helps guide our eye to just navigate the photo. And I think in terms of lighting, it seems like the lighting is actually coming from the stairs itself. And what that does is it actually like underlights the subject. So technically they're all backlit because everybody is being lit from below, and they end up turning into kind of like closely like silhouettes, especially with the way that the photographer exposed it. I think the thing for me is I'm curious to see how this photo would look like in black and white, because you have a lot of nice bold elements. You have the lines all going up, you have the stairs going in the spiral, the other parts of the stairs, and even just like the stair pattern could really come out. Those shadows could really come out in black and white. So really think about when you have a photo like this and there's a lot of forms, is the use of color intentional here, or did you just so happen to take it? Because there is going to be more distracting things that are happening, like this person in this jacket is going to make it stand out, and you kind of look to that person when I don't think that's a focal point of the image. But overall, this is a very cool spot, and I love the perspective, the above perspective. It just really creates this cool vibe, and it reduces a very chaotic scene into something a little bit more abstract. All right, so this next image we have is from Rafa Figo. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. This is like a phenomenal image, and I really love this, and I feel like there's a lot of things that are going on here that just creates so much depth in the image. First off, we have this foreground framing element right here. So we have these people in the front, and they're basically giving us some sort of like foreground layering. And then we have a lot of different frames within a frame. Well, actually, there's another foreground layering aspect right here, which creates more depth to the image. And then we have a lot of different frame within a frame. So we have this frame right here, and then there's another frame right here. And you could even say that this is a frame right here. So a lot of different frames. So awesome that you were able to incorporate all those different framing elements. At a first glance, the subject seems to be, at least where your eye is drawn, to be this person right here. But then for me, when I look a little bit deeper, there's kind of like an Easter egg surprise subject here because of the photographer's reflection. And to bring it back to light, we have the light coming from right here, going from right to left, and that really creates a nice lighting on this subject right here. And probably what's also helping for the reflection to come out, because the photographer is standing somewhere over here, which means that this window is still contributing some light on them. And if we look a little bit deeper, we have a really nice leading line that's just going through the image all the way to this other person over here that is frame within a frame. This is a very nice image. I think the only critique I have is just making sure that this line right here is just tilted that way a little bit. You're just going to nudge it that way a little bit so that it's almost parallel to the vertical. That's just something I look at a little bit, unless it was intentional to create a little bit of tension, right? So just make sure that if you meant for it to be vertical, that you really keep it vertical, just nice and tidy, unless it's part of your artistic directions. A really great job on this photo. Now we have this image from Sam Lee, It looks like a street scene, kind of like a candid scene with this passerby walking through. So let's dive into this a little bit. First, let's look at the light. The light seems to be coming from behind whatever this foreground object is. It's right here, coming through this way. It's not shining directly on the subject, but it is shining to create this big pocket of light here that's going through, and it looks like there's another building that's putting this in shadow. What that does is it creates almost like two different sides to really minimize how much we're looking at. So we have this side in shadow, and then we have this side is kind of like a foreground element. And what that effectively does is lets us only think about what's in here and here. And I like to do that with my images to make sure that we only force the viewer to look at a certain spot. And when I look at this image, there's two things that we look at if we're just looking at this part right here, right? We have a nice balance, a visual balance between this sign and then this subject. And they kind of like connect, right? They're like diagonal from each other. The other thing that we see here too is there is this frame within a frame. And I also like that the subject is looking into the light right here. So she's looking this way. My biggest, it's not a real critique because I can see here the way that you framed, the way that you captured the legs separated is, you know, what I would have aimed for. But I just really wish that the subject was just a little bit, their head was like right here, like in the middle of the frame. But you can't really do that because if they had done that, then their legs would be like intersecting each other, which probably wouldn't look as good. So I don't think that's really something that you could do. The only way you could get that photo is if you waited for another person to walk through, but then it might not be the same. But overall, I really like the cool tones, how you use the foreground layering on the left side, and then on the right hand side use a shadow to create like two sides of negative space in order to focus just on the middle. And then we have the balancing between the two, the sign and the person. And also, now that I think about it too, the sign also balances out with this cone right here. So really great job. Love this photo. I wish I was able to find some cool scenes like this with light to just camp out and take these cool types of shots. One thing that I noticed across all these different submissions is that a lot of you are finding really great light, really nice colors, and interesting subjects. What usually is missing isn't a specific type of gear or lens. It's not a preset look or filter, or it's not even like technical settings that are in the camera, but usually what we're seeing here is just small adjustments to framing. A little bit of iteration and patience can go a long way. You can take a step to the left, you can make sure to exclude this one distracting element, or maybe wait a couple more seconds for the person's walking to really fall into place into that frame. Really making sure that all the elements line up just right. Those tend to matter more than a lot of people realize. And honestly, this is why I love teaching inside of VSCO spaces specifically. I think it's something that I want to do a lot more of because on Instagram, you only get to see it if it pops up on your algorithm. Here in VSCO spaces, there's no algorithm pressure. Once we all participate, we can all see what's going on there. There's no anxiety around making sure to perform in front of a whole big audience. And it's just photographers all gathering together to slow down and learning how to see better together. And that kind of environment on the internet space is something that really matters, and I'm hoping to incorporate more into how I educate on the online space. If you found this type of critique helpful, this type of breakdown helpful, and you want to see more of these annotation style critiques like this, please let me know down in the comments. Please let VSCO know that you want to see more of this from me. And if you've submitted a photo, again, please make sure you check the VSCO space for your personalized feedback. Huge thanks to VSCO again for continuing to support photography education across the internet, and specifically for supporting me to try new things to teach you in different ways. And thank you again for everyone who trusted me with their work. I will see you in the next one.